Hello and welcome to this episode. Now, the gun we are going to showcase is the PP-19-01 Vitraz. Now, it's worth about 20 grand on the flea, and a suit version you can get off mechanic for around 75-80k. Now, this I got off someone, and excuse the darkness. This first little bit, it's in the darkness because Ollie is very dark. Now, this gun I got off someone, and they souped it up to pretty much a Zenith. And as you can see, it's quite effective. I do have AP 6.3. Now, the effective distance is 200 meters, but you're not looking at fighting at 200. You're looking at fighting around what I just shot that guy at, because the penetration decreases dramatically. Now I'm using probably the best ammo you can have, because unless you want to go for headshots, legs and arms, you want the penetration damage, not the actual flesh damage. Now, one thing you should note is go around like you own the place, but constantly check the corners and everything. But think how many times you've heard someone going through and you've tried to do questing and you back off and just let them go past. Now obviously we're not doing anything silly and everything. We are making sure that we're not going to get shot by anywhere. Closing doors as well. Clear the room, then close the door. You don't want to leave doors open because people can just come right out. And obviously you want as many audio cues as possible. Now, this gun obviously isn't top tier. The bullets obviously aren't top tier. This is a questing gun, hence the video. We are prepared to fight players, but we will unload the entire mag into them if need be. But for scabs, this does the job. Now we're making sure we're perfectly fine. Last time I did this quest, just before I did this one, I was running a different gun and ran around and ran into Killer because he doesn't make any noise anymore. At least he hasn't made a single sound for me since the update. And yeah, it's loot, it goes in my gun, but then I check, it gets in my way, so I take it off. I don't really go for lasers. They haven't really done anything for me, but it's profit. Now this section, do check if you go past. The amount of people that don't check these and they're going past it, you might as well go past it and check. Because there are bitcoins and all that there. There is a valuable loot spawn. And obviously, people get either bored, lazy, or think they got more money than they need, so they don't check valuable spots. They run out of money and then wonder why. You will always want to top up your cash flow, because you never know what BSG is going to add, what event's going to happen, or anything like that. Now, the audio is good and terrible because I hear this guy coming from a mile away, but I can't quite track where he's going until he gets up to me. As you can see, effective distance 200 my foot. It might hit at 200. But it's not very effective. It goes through the armor and everything. I wasn't taking any chances. The way it was moving, I didn't know whether it was a player scab or whatever. So I wasn't taking chances. And especially near Goshan, a lot of people camp. The military camp that's just out to the left of me, out towards where I looked. A lot of people camp there, and overgeared gorillas pretending they're killer do go there. mainly at the more nighttime, but this is dawn. I find scabs are less accurate come dawn. The couple hours before dawn, they can see in the dark and pinpoint you. A couple hours after dawn, when the sun is up, they can pinpoint accurate, shoot you as well. But around that dawn, seems to be a little coding thing where you can actually use it to your advantage, that they're a little day-night blind. Now obviously I'm checking all the angles because I have been shot when I've been doing scav or PMC, didn't really matter. And yeah, the door sort of gets in my way. And yeah, people just sitting there and waiting for people to go across because it is fairly central to a lot of what you got to do. Now obviously constantly checking. You never know where rats are going to be hiding. And I seem to have a problem with the interface lately. The search or the close. It seems to be a little hit and miss. Now obviously we're doing the manifest from Ollie, Goshan and Idea. We also have the markers to do as well. And this part's generally safe. If you're going to run into someone, it's probably going to be where I'm standing now. Not really anywhere else. Because you're going to have them sitting around here and then trying to shoot you as you go in. I ran a killer just around that corner one time. So I'm a little cautious. And I do hear things, and because of the audio and the headphones, you're hearing things that are 60 to 90 meters away depending on your headset. So distance-wise, I don't know where they are. With their voices, it's a little easier when they're yelling. But due to the new combat voice system, they'll stop talking once they're in combat with you. So if they aggro on you, they might talk and then they'll be quiet and you won't be able to tell where they are. And now obviously players do camp looking where I am going. A lot of TTV people have shot me or shot at me camped in this section. And yeah, I know the guy is somewhere there. I don't know exactly where. And yeah, like the headphones are good and they're bad. Look, like I'm not using the COM4s or whatever, but these are sufficient for what you do. And you don't want to hear people moving 90 meters away when you're running around interchange. You'll hear people top level, bottom level, anywhere. And it'll be horizontal volume. You won't actually be able to tell if he's running upstairs or downstairs. The audio cues aren't vertical either. To me anyway. It's my opinion. Now right here, you want to be careful coming the other way where I'm about to go, because coming out of those doors you'll have probably 5-6 camping spots that you got to watch. Now I do skip a little bit moving around because I check every single table and I don't get the little pick up the manifest thing, and then yeah, I do. I don't know why I didn't want to do it the first time, but as you can see, I got all 3. Now, I do want to take the car if it's there. So, I check in the time. Player scavs will be in. And I am heavy, so I don't want to have to actually run any further than I have to. And obviously I'm going to make a lot of noise, so I don't really care this next part. I skip ahead, but I just run. Walking I'm going to make a lot of noise. Running I'm going to make a lot of noise. It doesn't really matter. Now this part is actually the more dangerous part, because people camp power station. Camp inside it and camp watching it. So this is actually probably just as dangerous as Goshan, going across that section. Because if you get a bunch of people looking to either wreck people's days, do tasks, or just get into PvP, people will be watching this runway, watching the bit in front of me, and watching power station. Or be in power station, camped out, waiting for people. Now obviously it depends on the time you do it and what's going on at the time, and different times in the wipe, but you can't guarantee that there's not probably 10% of the player base just starting out at any one time. So you don't know what missions they got, don't know what videos they've watched, or what little rat holes they've found or been shown to try to get gear the easy way. Because obviously it's easier to sit in a hole and wait for people to walk across you than it is to actually go around the map. Now the vehicle's obviously not there, and I'm going to mark this tanker. Obviously I'm going to skip the 30-second timer. But make sure your ammo's loaded, you're healed up. Obviously I ate and drank because we are heavy, so we're losing it quicker than normal as well. And now I have to make my way all the way to railway. Now this is where you need to be careful as well, because from here to past this wall there are campers watching this wall. They can be around those shipping crates or in the car park underneath garage bit. Although it's not a very good spot for loot getting as a rat and all that, because generally people aren't going there with anything on them. They're getting out after a quest or something. Yep. And if you hit them, they'll probably have just killed Killer or something. So they'll have decent armor and you're just going to wreck the armor and you're going to have to sell it, not use it. Here is where I need to go down there. I do not want to have to come back to interchange and do the manifest again, because I got a good server, everyone was ratting somewhere, and I moved her through the map without a fuss. But I really want to get the quest done as well, and it's really annoying having to choose. But there's where I gotta go, and because I gotta run all the way up there, I decide I'm going to do it. It's not a smart decision, and you'll see why. But if you have done something where you got to hand it in, and you have a quest that you can just do whenever, go to Xville and hand in the quest. Don't do what I'm doing. Because yeah, it's better to get the quest done, come back and empty bag, get more loot. Because obviously I got a full bag, it's so heavy. I'm looking for a spot to drop. Now, I do think there's a gunshot, but it's actually a flare. And that flare actually ends up back at the railway. and you'll see what I do with the airdrop. Yeah, this scav, you can't tell how far away he is. Sounds like he's about to walk around this corner. To my ears, anyway. Yeah, I'm looking, and he's not there. He's nowhere close. Yeah, he sounded like he was about to turn that corner. And he's nowhere to be seen. And yeah, you can use the airdrop noise to cover your tracks. And yeah, he's right here. And obviously a bit of accuracy issue, but also the fact that the gun's not very effective at distance. I do get him a few times and he does breathe very heavy. But yeah, moving around when there's an airdrop is not a good idea either. And as you can see, if you're on target, the vertical recoil actually helps you go center mass to head, So it's a good scav gun because you penetrate the class 3, class 4 armor, and then you have a chance to also finish it off with a headshot. And obviously I'm making sure I got bullets, and we do need a repack, but I'm not repacking in the middle of this. Now, usually they do come out and try to find you again, but I did do a lot of damage to him, so he is hiding. And yeah, moving in the path or around the airdrop is very dangerous. People use it as either a bait, and as you can see, he's so injured he didn't know what to do. Now more yelling. This is why it's not a good idea to do something that you weren't planning on doing. Because look how much trouble I'm getting into. All because I didn't want to come back to interchange. Now scavs don't actually know you can shoot through that because it's to them an actual blocker. But you can shoot through that without any fuss. And obviously plant it, repack. And yeah, I went through a lot of bullets, but they're easy enough to get. Unless you're running 9mm all the time. You only need to run the gun every now and then when you just got quests to do and you need something that pumps bullets out. But yeah, I didn't need anything heavy duty this run. And it's also good when you have done a few things and failed, or you're having a bad day, you don't want to lose a good gun or good bullets. Get something like this that costs hardly anything compared to the rest. Load it up, make sure you bring extra mags, extra bullets, and you're good. Once again, I have issues with distance, knowing where this guy is. I did see him and then he ran ahead and somehow got all the way down there. But you can see it does have a effectiveness. Just don't rely on it. And yeah. Now, all that noise and everything, I am suppressed, but you do hear suppressed. Just get out. Just run away from the area. Doesn't matter whether it's to a certain spot or not. Just get out of the area. And I reckon that's a good thing to do as well. Make sure your mags are different. So I put them on the lower level because they're empty, or almost empty. I'll put them down. In my head, I will remember that I put them there. As you can see, the airdrop actually landed just there. And this is what I do. I hit sprint all the way to exfil. Because the amount of time that airdrop's been there, any number of people could be camped it, any number of people could have looted it. It is not worth the risk. But that is the question gun.